A new morning begins and you have fresh items for sale in your Magic items shop. Customers will be on the hunt for weapons, accessories, and armor for their adventure, and they might be in need of some enchanted gear. Luckily, you've mastered some crafting and enchanting skills that may make you the most successful merchant in Merchants of Magic, which was designed by Clarence Simpson and published by Rock Manor Games, who helped sponsor this video. Hey everyone, I'm Mike Murphy and I'm joined by my brother Nick Murphy, and today we are going to show you what it takes to become a master at your trade as you seek to gain the most coins possible. So let's get this game down to the table so we can show you how to play Merchants of Magic. In Merchants of Magic, players will go through 10 rounds as they try to master crafting various items that customers will want, as well as researching spells so you can enchant items to fulfill more valuable orders. Each player will be playing simultaneously by filling out their sheet of paper as they make use of the dice, which represent physical materials and types of energy. Before we get into crafting, Mike will go over the setup.
To begin, set out the 4 dice in the center of the table so they're easy to see for all players. Place the pile of potions nearby. Now shuffle the deck of order cards and place them in the middle of the table as well. Each player will receive a sheet representing their shop along with a writing device. Feel free to name your shop in the top left corner of your sheet if you like. Each player will be dealt a random sponsored adventurer who will be in search of a specific set of gear. Any remaining sponsored adventurer cards can be returned to the box. Next, each player is dealt order cards, which are placed just above their sheet. The amount of orders dealt to each player depends on the player count. In 1 to 2 player games, each player gets 4 cards. In 3 to 6 player games, each player gets 3 cards, and in 7 and 8 player games, each player gets 2. Let's pretend we're playing a 3-player game, so we each get 3 cards. These order cards will show an item of either a weapon, an accessory, or armor, and may have 1 or 2 enchantments showing in the top left and bottom right of the card. More on enchantments in a moment, but note that if a player gets 3 or more cards with double enchantments, they will return all 3 cards to the bottom of the deck and draw new cards. Finally, draw out a mastery card for material mastery and a mastery card for energy mastery and place them in the center of the table with the side with the higher coin value face up. You are now ready to open up shop.
Each of the 10 rounds will be broken up into 4 phases, and play occurs simultaneously for the most part. Each round, the 4 different dice will roll, and players will have the opportunity to use at least 2 of them in order to spend time crafting items and researching spells, hoping to be able to provide the items on the order cards in front of them before those customers leave to buy from another player's shop. Let's take a look at how a round plays out.
Each round will consist of 4 phases: the resource phase, the crafting and research phase, the mastery phase, and the customer phase. In the resource phase, all 4 dice will be rolled, and each player will write down the results of the rolled dice on the leftmost empty column on the top left of their sheet. This will help keep track of how many rounds have passed. Each of the 4 dice have a different amount of dice faces, and certain dice will be able to mark numbers on the 2 halves of the player sheet. The left half of the player sheet represents items that can be crafted. Crafted items come in the form of accessories, weapons, and armor. Each item will show between 1 and 3 materials needed to be crafted, be it steel, wood, or leather. Only certain dice can be used for certain materials. For example, only the red 6-sided die can be used to mark off circles relating to steel, which is shown at the top of its column on your sheet. The right side of your sheet represents your research and magic as you hope to create enchantments and charms. Enchantments and charms use wild, arcane, and elemental energy to create. Once players have written in the 4 values of the rolled dice, they can move on to the crafting and research phase. Here, players will once again play simultaneously, and they can make use of 2 of the 4 rolled results to mark circles on their board. To mark a circle on the crafting side of the board, they need to match both the appropriate type of die or dice according to the column the circle is in, and they must have a number that is equal to or higher than the number showing in the middle of the circle. So for example, if I wanted to mark a 4 circle in the wood column of the grimoire, I would need either a red or purple die of a value 4 or higher in order to mark that circle. Players hope to mark each circle in a row in order to craft that item, which makes it available for the rest of the game for completing orders. When all circles for an item are marked, that item is crafted, and you will circle the coin value next to the item's name, which will be coins gained at the end of the game. You also immediately gain 1 potion. More on potions in a moment. Be sure to announce to the table that you have completed that item's crafting. To complete enchantments, you must once again use a die that matches the column of the circle you wish to mark, but now you must have a number that matches or is lower than the number in the middle of the circle. You can see an arrow at the bottom of the circle to remind you of this rule. Enchantments will also have their coin value circled when all circles in that row are marked, and you will once again immediately gain a potion and announce it to the table upon successfully researching those enchantments. Enchantments will be found on order cards along with the item and come in the variety of prefix and suffix enchantments. Prefix enchantments come in the form of fiery, shocking, everlasting, divine, and others, and suffix enchantments will be of the elves, of the dwarves, orcs, or dragons, and items can have prefix enchantments, suffix enchantments, or both, and you must have the item crafted and any enchantments needed for that item completely filled in for you to complete that order. Players can also create charms to gain extra potions or to award extra coins for accessory, weapon, or armor order cards that you completed.
Now we've been talking all about potions, and as this is a game using dice, which even in a magical world can be very random, so you can use your potions to help mitigate those dice rolls, and they can even allow you to use extra dice in a round.
As you collect potions, you can use them to change the value of the rolled result in order to help you better mark your circles. For each potion you use, you can increase or decrease the value of the rolled die by 1, and you can use multiple potions at once. So for example, if I wanted to make some greaves, I need a 7 in steel, but that d6 won't roll higher than a 6, but I can increase that number using potions. Note that you will not actually change the faces of any rolled dice, and no other players will be affected by your use of potions. You can also increase the amount of dice you use each round by purchasing extra dice. The first 3 times you use extra dice results are free, but then you must start paying potions to use them. You'll always get to use 2 of the rolled results, but by using 2 of these extra dice slots, you could use up to all 4 of the results in the same round. Each player will have between 2 and 4 orders in front of them depending on player count, and as materials get crafted and research of enchantments gets completed, any current and future items that require those items and enchantments will be automatically provided. So for example, if I had bracers that required the everlasting enchantment and I had both of those rows completed on my sheet, I would automatically collect that card, which will be worth its coin value at the end of the game. A new card will automatically be drawn but will remain face down until later in the round. Players can complete multiple orders in the same round, and this will be the main way you gain coins, bringing you closer to victory. Each player also has a sponsored adventurer that is looking for specific items, like the witch here who wants fiery items, specifically a fiery pendant, spear, and plate armor. Think of this like 3 order cards that are permanently in your possession. If you ever complete an item and enchantment that match one of your orders shown on the sponsored adventurer, you immediately complete that order and mark the leftmost circle in their row on your sheet. The first time you complete an item, you'll gain 3 potions. The second time will allow you to mark any circle you like, and the third time will allow you to again fill a circle as well as award you the coin shown on the adventurer card at the end of the game. Note that you can complete the items on your sponsored adventurer card in any order that you like. After all players have completed the crafting and research phase, we move on to the mastery phase. 2 mastery cards were selected during setup, and they will award players coins for marking a certain number of circles in a column from the crafting or research side of the sheet. For example, the Master Magician card awards players coins if they fill in their 5th circle in the arcane energy column. A player or players who achieve this first in a round will gain the higher coin amount, and after that round the card will flip to a lower coin value, and all other players can complete the mastery card in a future round for the lower amount of coins. Each of the 2 mastery cards can only be claimed once by a player, and you'll write the coin value on the bottom of the sheet in the material or energy mastery circles upon achieving it. Finally, we have the customer phase, after players have marked their sheets and completed any orders they can. All orders will move 1 space clockwise, with your leftmost card going to the player on your left, and you will receive a card from the player on your right, so you'll always end up with the same amount of orders you had before. Finally, any face down order cards will now be flipped face up, and you are now ready for the next round. Players will continue rolling new dice each round and making use of the results, trying to complete as many orders as possible, and after the 10th round, it's time to tally up the money earned. Players will add up the coins from each item they crafted, and they will do the same for any enchantments or charms they researched successfully. These will be marked in the circles at the bottom of your sheet. You will have already marked the amount of coins earned for any mastery cards achieved. Now add up the coins earned from completed orders and add that to its circle, and be sure to add up coins from any charm bonuses. Finally, add points for your sponsored adventurer if you got all 3 of their orders completed, and the player with the highest total coin value is the winner. If the game is tied, the player with the most fulfilled orders is the winner. If the game is still tied, the player with the most potions left over is the winner, and if the game is still tied after that, all tied players share the victory.
And that is how you play Merchants of Magic. This game is all about trying to capitalize on the orders you have in front of you. You want to make sure your shop is stocked with all of the right items and enchantments so your shop is the most successful one in town. And if you'd like to learn more about Merchants of Magic, make sure to check out its page on BoardGameGeek.com. And until next time, we have been Mike and Nick Murphy, and that is how you play Merchants of Magic. Have a great day.